Good morning, students. Welcome to SRVPS Virtual Classrooms. I'm Arshna Jha, your teacher to teach you English. To achieve social justice and to attain class equality, education is the only hope. We know it, and Stephen Spender believed it. With the same note, let's start our today's class. Students, we are going to continue our poem An Elementary School Classroom in a Slum, written by Stephen Spender. We all know Stephen Spender, a socialist and a pacifist who worked for the upliftment of the deprived section of the society. He believed that if haves will share something with have nots, then gap can be removed. And in this poem, he paints a dark picture of slum children, their life, and their school that is established in the slum. Kind of description is being given. Very dull wall. I welcome you to visit this elementary school classroom in a slum. Let's visit there and find out the reality. In first stanza, poet talks about slum children who are sitting in elementary school classroom. They are far, far away from gusty waves. Far, far repetition is used to lay stress on the distance, and metaphor gusty waves means jubilations of life, all kind of big changes that is going on worldwide. These children are living far away from the mainstream, unlike other children who are vibrant and exuberant. These children's faces look tired and withered, and they are compared with rootless weeds because these children are unwanted and are forced to live life of insignificant and unkept like rootless weeds. Their hair is scattered untidily around their faces, that is pale. Even faces due to malnutrition is pale. Then there is a description of a tall girl who might be burdened with the household responsibility and thus is having her weighed down head. Now she is bent down with burdens of life of poverty. Then there is a boy who is so thin that he is compared with paper seeming boy. He is so thin that it seems as if he is made up of paper. He is having rat's eyes, means due to living in an unhygienic condition, he has developed diseased eyes, which is compared with rat's eyes. Moreover, one can see hunger, greed, and fear hidden in his eyes. That also makes this metaphor suitable here. Then we have unlucky hair of twisted bones reciting a father's granal disease. Right? So this boy is small and having deformed body. A malnutrition has kept him short and stunted, or maybe because of his father's granal disease, he has inherited this weakness. Using father's granal disease as metaphor, poet wants to say that quality of boy's life has been severely affected by his father's weakness. What he learns and recites is what his father used to do. So that is same. So nothing has changed. Now, using contrast, poet introduces a young and sweet boy who is sitting in last and is not observed even. He creates his own world where he tries to enjoy the game like squirrel, and he moves in the lap of nature. So here poet has used contrast. Now after this stanza, in second stanza, poet is trying to talk about the ambience of the classroom. After description of the students, now here poet moves on to describe the condition of the infrastructure of the school. The classroom of the elementary school has not been maintained properly. The paint in the room has faded out. It creates a morbid atmosphere with its sour cream walls. Now, the word donations here is indicating that the maintenance of the wall is dependent on the donations given by the rich. Now, we have the painting of Shakespeare's head, the scenery of cloudless dawn and civilized dome, which symbolizes the culture and progress all over the world. And the picture of flowery Triorelis Valley, the beautiful scenic beauty, is also decorating the wall. Now, along with these, we have an open-handed map that appreciates the world, awarding the world its world. So it carries the picture of beautiful nature around the world, outside their slum, and that appreciates the bounties of the nature. But these children see their world through these windows. So these windows only show them their world, which is that slum area only. They find their world dull and dark, very far away from nature's bounties. Their world is confined to that foggy lanes with no hopes, narrow streets, foggy lanes with no hopes in future, even because their future is painted with a fog. It's blurred, it's not clear. They live in these lanes, and that is sealed with the lead sky. It is again covered with a dull sky, showing no hope in future even. And this place is very, very far away from all the natural beauty, that is rivers, mountains, and even the world of appreciation, that is love and other affections. So these kids are deprived of all basic amenities. Now next, in third stanza, after showing the melancholy mood of the classroom, poet calls legendary figure Shakespeare as a wicked fellow and the map a bad example. Shakespeare is wicked for the slum children because these hungry, illiterate children fail to give value to the wisdom of Shakespeare. Instead, the beautiful scenes, shapes, and emotions explained in his drama tempt them to steal. That means they get tempted by the world which is inaccessible to them and is depicted in his work. Even the map too sets a wrong example because it shows the world which is contrast to their world. They don't find their world on that map. So these children are forced to live in dingy cells, that is called cramped holes here, which is so small, so ill lit and ill ventilated that they are compared with holes. And their whole life is spent in darkness only, fog to endless night. That means these children are forced to live a life in darkness from foggy morning to dark night. Poet has used here simile, bottle bits on stones, to explain that their life is completely shattered, and even that mended glass looks like as if that glass is broken on the stone and it is scattered like bits. Poet in frustration says that the map should be stained with, these maps should be stained with slum, the picture of slum, and that kind of slum which is as big as doom. Using this simile, he suggests that these children are forced to live in such a miserable condition that even the slum look like a hell. Now, after describing their pathetic and miserable situation, he moves to the next line where his words, his tone is little polite. In fourth stanza, poet appeals to governor, inspector and visitor to make efforts to improve the condition in the school. This stanza is an appeal to all those who are in haves category, those who can make some difference in the life of these have-nots. He urges them to work for them to make the map a window, make a map a window for them to look at the world outside their slum. Even poet warns that the window which has restricted their vision should be broken. Using simile like catacombs, which means underground graveyard, poet reveals that the slums are like tombs and these children live as if they were dead. Poet urges to break dismantle and destroy all those restrictions. Poet wants that these slum children should be given freedom to experience the bounties of nature, like running under the blue sky on golden sand. All the barriers should be removed, that should be broken, so that they should experience the freedom of getting education. There should be no obstacle in getting education. Poet encourages everyone to work for their upliftment. They should be given chance to study with books in their hand. They should be allowed to move freely in the lap of nature. White hair refers to the white pages of book. Green hair refers to the nature. Now here in the last line, poet is trying to say that once they will be given chance to get education, then with light of education in their hands, they could contribute in making history. Poet has a firm belief that only education can remove the darkness, and that education only can transform the world. This way he appeals to those who are capable, along with all the readers who are reading there, to contribute in upliftment of these deprived children. Let's quickly revise the figure of speech used here. The first line of the poem has repetition, far, far away. Then it has simile in second line, like rootless weeds. We have imagery, the paper seeming boy. And then metaphor in rat's eyes. In next line, we have metaphor again as father's canal disease, and metaphor in squirrel's game and tree room. Next line, here writer is trying to use contrast by depicting the things on the wall which is totally in contrast with their real life. Then we have metaphor where future is painted with the fog. And again lead sky also is a metaphor which is depicting the dull sky and the restrictions in their life. Ship, sun and love creates an imagery effect here. Then we have simile like bottle bits on stones and as big as doom. Next stanza has simile like catacombs, and repetition also shows that how much he emphasizes on the these restrictions should be broken. Then running azure on the gold lands and tongue run naked into books. Here personification is used, and white and green leaves are used as metaphor. So this is all the description of these slum children, and the poet presents their pathetic and miserable situation so that everyone will work for them and for their upliftment. Now we will discuss about theme and message of the poem. In the poem, An Elementary School Classroom in a Slum, poet Stephen Spender touches the theme of social injustice and class inequality, and he leaves a message for the reader that there is a need to change the condition of slum children, and which can be done through education. Now these pictures leaves a message, a kind of emotion is evoked in all of us, and that is the theme of the poem, and this is what the poet wants to get at the end. The smile on the faces of these children, the happiness that they are deprived of should be given to them. So in words we can note down theme of the poem is to social injustice, class inequality, and he also talks about government apathy, and he believes that education only is the hope in their life which can provide them opportunities to lead dignified lives as human beings. So the message for us is, it is an appeal to the rulers also, all the philanthropists, Law enforcing bodies, they can work for them by providing them opportunities, and there is a message in the poem that we all should have that sensitivity towards these underprivileged, right? So we have discussed about theme and message of the poem also. I have shared some questions in your Dropbox. You can do your homework, try some extra questions shared with you, and if you have any query, can take it in our query session. So that is all for today. Hope you have learnt and you got the message. So enjoy your time. Have a nice time. Thank you.